Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have something exciting. I built this table right here and I'm going to show you all how to do it. So this was my first time woodworking and it turned out so well. So I bought all of my wood from Home Depot and I'm just cutting this down. This is a 4x4 right here, but the plans are in the description box. I'm using the plans from Shanti 2 Chic, and they'll show you all the cuts and measurements that you need to make this table. I did make some modifications to the tabletop because I bought a different size wood, so that's why I did that. But here's me just cutting down the wood and all the pieces that I need. If you want to build this table, please check the description for the plans and the cuts. So I am using my pocket hole jig and drilling some pocket holes. I think on the 3/4 of an inch, just because it's a 4x4, so I need it to be a little deeper. And I'm just taking my measuring tape to make sure I center the piece to be in the center of the leg. So I use wood glue to secure the pieces together. Wood glue gives you a very tight finish, and I'm gonna link everything in the description box of what I'm using. And I'm also using the Craig HD screws. Now these screws were very hard to find. No big box store sells these, so I end up ordering them from Amazon. And I feel like you probably could find a replacement screw for this, but I'll link them in the description box. But I ordered them off Amazon and they came pretty fast. So I did put wood glue right here also, and I'm just using those Craig HD screws to screw it together. So this will be the legs, the bottom base of my table. So right here I am putting my foot pads on. I just took I forgot what, 1x4, yes, and cut it down into smaller pieces to make foot pads, just to lift this base off the ground a little bit. So it can give my table a little height, and also so the wood just won't scratch the floor. But I'm using my brad nailer attached to an air compressor and getting those in nice and tight. I am just making the piece for the top of the leg, and I did the exact same thing as the bottom of the legs. I put some glue and I'm using some screws to attach it. I did not use the Craig HD screws for this one. I used 2.5-inch screws. And now I'm attaching it to the leg. So I am adding another top layer on there. For these plans, they actually call for 3 layers, but I only did 2 because my table was the height that I wanted it to be already, and I feel like I had enough support. And I did a different tabletop, so the plans didn't really work for the tabletop that I was doing. So I only did 2 layers here, and it turned out perfectly. But guys, this was my first time woodworking, and I just want to say that I'm proud of myself. I didn't know that I had this in me. You know, I've been remodeling and doing things in my home for about the last year or two, and I think I just surprise myself sometimes how much that I am capable of. And I think everybody has the ability to do something. Like, if you just put your mind to it, you can do it. I would say throughout this process I was getting frustrated, but this was my first time doing this, so I had to be very patient with myself and just take time. Woodworking takes patience, so definitely do this. You can get a lot of the wood cut down at Home Depot, and I think they charge about 25 cents an additional cut after 2. The first 2 or 3 are free. So if this is something you want to do, go ahead and do that. But as right here, you saw that I put pocket holes into the bottom. This is going to be my tabletop, so I did just drill pocket holes in, and I'm using my screws. Some I use 2.5 screws, and then some I use 1 1/4, I think, screws, just to make sure they went in. I should have drilled my pocket holes a little closer. That's why I used the 2.5-inch screws, so they can actually go and reach into the other board. And I use wood glue in the middle to attach. But the key right here when making your tabletop, you want to make sure the boards are straight and aligned together in one perfect row. I think if you don't do that, you have to do a lot of sanding to make sure that your tabletop is flat. If not, you're gonna be catching crumbs. It's just not gonna look like a nice tabletop. So make sure that the boards are down and flush together. Also, another thing, when you're lining up the boards, make sure that each board kind of curves a different way. You can see if you look at the end of the board which way the grain kind of goes. So if it's curving one way, make sure the other one is doing the opposite. So this will help with bowing in the future, so your boards can stay straight and last longer. Angled bracing, so you can see that I'm using my miter saw, and I have it at a 45-degree angle, and so I'll make that cut, and then I'll just flip the board over so it can be in the opposite direction for the next cut. And you can just see what I'm doing here, and I use a piece as a guide for all the rest of the pieces. So I measure only one, and then I just use it as an example for the rest. And I think this part made the table look so much better. Like at first it's like, oh, okay, you made a table, but this, oh girl, you made a table for real. And it just looks nice. I'm using my brad nailer again and just making sure those pieces go in. These, I mean, they're just kind of an accent piece, so just, it don't have to be screwed in. The nailer worked just fine. I forgot to show in the video, but I did sand down the tabletop using 80 grit and worked all the way up to 220. So we have reached the last part of this table process, and I am staining it. You all know that I love stains, and the color that I'm using is Brush Smoke by Varathane in their premium collection, and it turned out so amazing. It actually matches my china cabinet, and I used the exact same stain, and they look so good together. But here is how it turned out, guys. I am so happy with the results of this. I think I'm gonna be woodworking a little bit more. So if you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel and support my channel. Give this a big thumbs up if you liked, and if you would like to see me decorate the room. I'll see you all next time. Bye.